Phil!
Are you listening?
With veganism on the rise, Generation Vegan interviews the up-and-coming hottest vegans, and in this podcast, we teach you the practical side of having a plant-based diet. Today, we are talking to Joe Coleman. He has a ridiculous energy about him, glowing skin, and a mentality that is truly unique. You can mistake this guy for a 30-year-old, but I will let him tell you his age. Let's jump on in. Welcome back to Generation, everyone. You know I missed you since last Tuesday, but today we have a super fit vegan who was born in the 60s, but he looks like he could outlift any 25-year-old that I know. He has inspired his daughters and others around him to go vegan. He's been sponsored by Foxglow, which is a tanning company, and Clean Machine. He is an activist, and he has a super chill vibe about him, and you will totally understand what I'm talking about when you go to his Instagram account. But I'm so honored to be interviewing Mr. Joe Coleman.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, of course, I stalked you on Instagram, and I think I was like 2 years down your timeline. I was like, I have to have this guy on my podcast. Like, your body's insane. Your mentality is so woke, woke and amazing. So just tell us a little bit about like why you're vegan and how you got there, and how long it's taken you to make the transition.
It's funny because I didn't even know what a vegan was till about 3.5 years ago. I had no clue. So it wasn't because of the animals, and it wasn't because of the environment, and it wasn't because of my health. I had no clue. I obviously knew the animals had to be killed, but I was so disconnected by that time that it didn't matter. Just like most people that eat meat, it doesn't matter. They don't see the connection there, what they're eating. So about 7 years ago, I was tired of organized religion. I was raised in organized religion. And then I ran the streets. I ran the streets. I was out there bad. So I said, this is not it either. So I said, let me come back to church and let me see if I missed something the first 18 years that I was in it. I didn't miss anything. So I just decided it's time to try this meditation thing out, because I've always was curious about it, right? So I did a little research, and I started sitting, and I didn't know what it was doing, but I know every day that I sat, my days would be better, because my mind was in a better place, right? So I'm like, even if it doesn't change me, it's making my days better, which makes my weeks better, which makes my months better, my years, my life better, right? So I just continued to do it. And about 3 years in, I was eating a vegetarian omelet. And I was already making the change, but I just didn't know it. So I was eating a vegetarian omelet with a friend of mine. And she goes, "Are you a vegetarian?" And at that moment, I said yes. I didn't even know why. So after I left that encounter with her, I was like, why did I say that? That's strange. But I knew I was never going to eat meat again. I knew it. So I got to do some research on this. Why did I do this? And then I looked up the connection between veganism and meditation. And there's a connection there, right? It's not a fluke. I was reconnected with the source. And I wanted to no longer do harm to anything else. And when you don't want to do harm to anything else, you don't eat animals that have been tortured and killed. See, I didn't know all this. I just knew that I wasn't going to eat it anymore. So I started getting on the internet, because I've been in the gym my whole life, since the 80s. And I go, what's this going to do to my body? I had no clue of what this was going to do to my body. And I didn't care, really, to tell you the truth. I just knew I wasn't going to eat meat anymore. Still didn't know what a vegan was. So I was just looking at vegetarian this, vegetarian that, vegetarian this, vegetarian that. And then I started seeing this word vegan floating around, because I was Googling vegetarians and bodybuilding and so on. I started seeing this word vegan floating around. I always thought that was a cult or something. I didn't know what it was, right? I thought it was some religious thing. So when I finally looked up vegan and what that was all about, and the egg process and the milk process, I then was like, I thought eggs they just had eggs. When milk, I thought they just made milk, and there was no suffering or no no damage done. It's just, it's whatever. And that's why I was continuing to eat this stuff when I was vegetarian, because I didn't know what the vegan thing was all about. So when I finally found out, I said, this is no good. And I stopped that too. And that's the day I became vegan. Actually, me and my wife, I had about 30 pairs of leather shoes, leather jackets, all kind of stuff. So what me and my wife did, and it was her idea, we loaded up the car with all of it because I didn't want it anymore because it made me sick. We loaded up the car with all of it and went down to it's called a park in Oakland, but it's not really. It's where a lot of homeless and uh, drug addicts, and we went down there, got a bunch of bananas, a bunch of oranges, loaded up the trunk with the shoes and the clothes, and popped the trunk, and we gave them all out that day just to get rid of it because I didn't want it anymore. I didn't just want to throw it out because them people can use it. So that's basically how I got to being a vegan. It was actually through meditation. It's being reconnected after being disconnected.
That is so, I'm sorry, that's so insane because most people usually have one of the, health animals or the environment inspiring them, but you're the first person I've had on there that's had a completely different reason. And I'm just so excited to hear more about your story. So before we get onto the vegan thing, I want to ask you, what was it specifically, like, what did you feel like you were missing? Like, how did you know you were missing something from religion? And then you said you went hard in the streets, you were missing something still. Like, what were the symptoms, I guess?
There's always, when you're not on your right path, there's always going to be an emptiness no matter what.
Right.
No matter if you got $10 million in the bank, because they commit suicide too. It doesn't matter what you have. If you're not on the right path, you're going to feel empty. It doesn't matter how many women you have. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. If you're not on the right path, you're going to feel empty. And that's why so many people have so many problems with drugs and alcohol, because they're trying to basically live in the present, but it's only temporary, and it's a fake. It's a fake sense of being present. So most people, when they drink or do drugs, at that moment, they're not worried about the future, and they're not worried about the past. So that means they're living in the present, right? But it's fake. So when that wears off, they need to get back there again, and that's what causes this addiction, right? So you, just like when I used to go clubbing and doing all my things, at that time I was happy. I thought I wasn't worried about anything else. But the next day, you could add twice the worry to it when you get up. So how do you get rid of that? You start all over again. Well, when you're going on your right path and you're connected, you can have peace without the drugs and without the alcohol and without the material things, no matter your situation. And that's where I'm at now.
I love that. I'm definitely going to try to adopt that into my life, because I feel like a lot of my generation were, being led down this path of quick success and materialistic things, and it's just really messing with our minds. And I truly believe that veganism is an overall way to fix that, because of, like, I think I reposted your Facebook post that said, you ingest the energy and the death and the fear of the animals, and people they don't think about that. So they run around all stressed out and depressed, even though they live in America 2016, and there's not really much struggle. I use that very loosely because, like, pain is pain. So I just really want to bring that into our interview as well, kind of like try to
Bob Marley said it the best when he was asked, are you rich? And he said, what do you mean by rich? And the guy said, do you have a lot of money in the bank? He said, that don't make you rich. It's your life that makes you rich.
Right.
All doesn't mean anything. If you're on your deathbed, what does that mean? Are you going to be worried about your cars you got outside? You're going to be worried about what kind of clothes you're wearing? You're not going to be worried about anything except for the relationships that you didn't have because you were too busy going after something else, some material wealth or whatever you were doing, just to spend quality time with the people you love.
Right. So I know that there's a few people on here that are your age and they're not vegan and they're bodybuilders. So I would love for you to kind of just dig into that a little bit, kind of about the stereotypes that you have to fight on a daily basis, how you do that, and then like what your thought process was as far as being so good looking at freaking.
Oh wow, I had a bad hair day today too. Oh, that's great. It looks okay.
I mean, it's okay. It's shiny. I like shiny.
Yeah, I actually just started bodybuilding like competitively last year, and I probably never would have if not going vegan. I mean, it's changed my whole meditation changed my whole life, and then veganism changed it even more. So we all have a path that we're supposed to be going, and sometimes we take the long way, but we're all going that direction. So anytime that failure happens, it's just to get you to go to another and in a different way. It doesn't mean you're a failure,
Right.
right? So once I got on this vegan stuff, I wouldn't be talking to you right now if I wouldn't have sat down and started meditating, right? My whole life went in another direction, the direction it was supposed to go. And then, so when I go to the gym and I wear my vegan shirts, I get asked a lot of questions, and a lot of people from my gym are now vegan.
Yes.
Because I'm using, everybody has something they can use to influence someone else in a positive way. And it is not our body all the time. You know, it could be anything. It could be whatever your little niche is, whatever group of people that you're around, you can influence them. But just in my case, the gym is my place where I get people because they're always curious about what am I doing? What am I eating? And then I tell them my age and their jaw hits the ground. I'm like, yeah, you better get on before you start looking on. Yeah. So I try to wear my vegan shirts to the gym as much as possible. But the only thing that happened with me as far as physically is initially the first month. That's the hardest one because just like if you're a addict to anything else, when you take it away, your body goes through withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
So my body was doing flips. I didn't know what was going on, but I still knew that I wasn't going to eat it again. And after a while, your body's so amazing, it adjusts to whatever you're putting in it, right? So if now you start putting good food in it only and stop putting in this death and this bad energy and the stuff that doesn't break down for weeks in your body will thrive. So I wasn't as big as I was then, but I'm so much more healthier and more fit and leaner, and I recover way faster. And if I wanted to get that size back, I could if I wanted to lift heavy.
Right.
I don't lift heavy anymore. You know, I'm for longevity, not try to get in the gym and ego lift and hurt myself. So, you know, because injuries come. So, you know, if you're trying to do the weight you were doing when you were 20 and your joints aren't 20 anymore. So you got to lift smarter instead of heavier. You know, it's just a transition. You got to listen to what your body tells you. But yeah, everybody in the gym, they all know I'm vegan. And like I said, several have switched over. I had a experience with this one boy. He's 24. And I talked to him about a month ago. No, about 3 months ago, maybe even longer. First time I talked to him was maybe like 6 months ago at a coffee shop. And I had my vegan shirt on. And he was like, "Oh, you're a vegan?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, I want to talk to you about that." I said, "Okay." He said, "I just lost about 100 pounds. I think he said 100 pounds. A lot of weight he lost, maybe a little less than that, but I'm not sure. But he looks great now, right?" And he was like, uh, we had about a 30 or 40-minute conversation when I was getting ready to leave and he was getting off work. Well, I happened to see him in the gym after that. We would talk periodically. And one day I came in and he had a big smile on his face. And I said, "Oh, you happy, huh?" I said, "What's going on?" He said, I went vegan. It's been 3 months since I've been vegan. I told my mom, I told my family. He said, "I've never felt better." He said, "I just did a 500-pound deadlift that I've been trying to get for 2 years. And I was vegan for a few months and I got it."
Oh, that's
So
insane.
he's stronger and he's only in his early 20s. So that's the thing, getting the youngsters to convert them. I'm not saying convert as in make them do something. I'm just saying get them to see the truth so they can pass it on to their kids and the young people around them. Because that's a generation we really need to get, because that's the future. So we want the future to be still doing the same thing we're doing now, killing off the planet and harming everything we can get our hands on. And something has to change.
Right.
So yeah.
So I just was wondering if this might be too personal, so it's okay, but if you could go through the exact symptoms of what your withdrawals were, because I know some people try the experience and it's so intense for them that they think that they're getting sick because they're vegan, and it's not the case.
Well, it seemed like my stomach was just doing backflips. I used to eat like chicken. I used to eat chicken about 5 times a day because I was told chicken breast, chicken breast, chicken breast, chicken breast, chicken breast. So when I didn't have it, my stomach was looking for it, and it wasn't there. So it was just making all. You could probably hear my stomach from about a block away. So that was the main symptom as far as that goes. But as far as like getting sick or anything like that, nothing really. It was just my stomach. Just my stomach was ready to break some chicken breast down, and it wasn't there. And then it adjusted. So it wasn't too bad. You know, I didn't lose a lot of energy. And I have so much energy now, it's unreal. I get up at 4 a.m. I've already been to work already and everything, and went to the gym, and now I'm here. So yeah, so it wasn't too bad as far as the physical symptoms, but I did know my mental clarity. I was a lot sharper.
Yes.
After I stopped that. So things have appear. My mind is quicker, and I think in a clear way. My meditation got me seeing things different, and then the stopping the meat just amplified that.
Right. So could you give someone, if they wanted to start meditation and veganism at the same time, what would you recommend to do first, and what would be an exact video that you could show someone to help to help them learn how to meditate?
So what I did was TM. It's called Transcendental Meditation, and there's so many different ways to do it. And it's up to the person. So sometimes I do walking. Basically, it's just about being present. Most of us never are with ourselves ever all day. When we get up, we're already thinking about what we got to do. You're not there. You're somewhere else. And if you're not thinking about something you got to do, you're thinking about what already happened. So you're never where you need to be. You're missing everything, right? So when you start getting to where you can be present at times, because nobody is all the time, and you can see the flowers. You can see, you can hear sounds, you can hear the birds. This is all the stuff that people miss almost their whole life because they're never there. Their mind, they could be walking to the store and don't even know they walked to the store because they missed everything in between. It's amazing how things change when you are just present, small periods. So if you were to take off, this is a good practice. If you were to just take off and say, let's walk to the store, try to be present the whole time. And it's hard. It's not easy. So try to listen, feel the wind, whatever is going on at that time, try to be there instead of thinking about what you're going to buy at the store, right? So most of us, when we're going somewhere, we're thinking about where we're going. So just to take a walk, feel your feet on the ground, feel your body the way it feels as you walk. These are all things that I learned after doing this. And it makes the simple things, they're so pleasurable, right? Just to sit out in the sun and just really feel the sun on you, feel the wind, hear the noises. We don't ever do that. And that's why we're so stressed out. We never spend time with ourselves. So to meditate, all you have to do, even 5 minutes a day, just sit down and listen to your breath and feel your body. Don't think about anything. Just try to stay right where you are. Listen to what's going on around you. Feel your chest rising and falling. We don't ever do that. We're robots. We get up and get in line and we march. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. So just spend time with yourself every day, even if it's only for a few minutes. It really makes a difference.
Right. And you talk about how hard it is. And I think people consider me conscious. I think people consider me woke or whatever. And even I struggle. Even just then, I was like, come back, be here, be here. Like, it's so hard to not be distracted and not be bombarded by, Starbucks, and you're driving down the street and you're going,
Right.
oh, Starbucks, let's go there,
Yeah, our minds are crazy, and when it gets on some kind of thing, it's like the internet. You start thinking about one thing and you end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
When you practice meditation, it's easy to catch it. That's the thing. You can catch it and come back instead of just letting it run wild. And that's how people they get a thought in their head, which may or may not be true, and then they run with it and they turn it into something else. That's how people fight all the time and have disagreements and this and that, because they take something small and make it something big.
Hmm.
And meditation helps you see things for what they are. And not saying I'm perfect at all, and not saying I don't go through my things, but when I go through them, I know exactly what happened, and I know how to come back. See, that's the difference. You equip yourself with the tools to bring yourself back, and not let yourself get carried away and continue on with the things you're doing that makes you unhappy.
Yeah, I love that. And when you were talking about your stomach and how it was like churning and you could hear it growling, what did you do to calm that? Like, what did you feed your body to tell it to relax?
I don't think I could do anything to calm that down. That was about 30 days straight.
Pretty
I was
bad.
like, I was just like, this is crazy. This is just crazy. But I said, I'm not gonna stop. I knew it was so clear that I wasn't gonna eat meat again at that time. Whatever happened and whatever came with it, just came with it. So that was it. So I just accepted for whatever it was, and if it happened to, if my stomach did that the rest of my life, it was just gonna have to do it.
Have you been sick since you've become vegan?
I'll get a cold once in a while, but I don't ever get knocked down sick ever.
So what do you have to say when I'm not sure if you hear this, but on my end, I hear a lot of vegans are always sick. They're, nutrient deficient. How do you battle that? Like, why do they think that about us when all of us are clearly extremely healthy?
This stuff has been told, I think, the whole industry, meat industry, I think these people just put this stuff out here. They just put it out there, and then people, they don't have their own mind. So, the milk does the body good. Everybody thought milk kept your bones strong, which now we know it's the opposite. It's like this stuff has been pounded into our heads since we were babies. We've been force-fed meat since we were babies. We've been told that steak and eggs is good for us since we were babies. But all these illnesses, high blood pressure, all these other illnesses, they're all from that. So it doesn't make any sense. So examples like yourself, which you look very healthy, glowing skin, the whole thing. The person that's telling you this probably doesn't look like that.
Right. I mean, I'm not trying to.
That's all you have to say is, look, and some people get it. They'll be like, oh, that's why, when I tell them I'm vegan, right? Oh, that's why, in a good way. So some people do get it. Hold on for 1 second.
Not a problem. Hey, so for everyone listening right now, I'll be linking everything that we're talking about in the description once I post his interview up on my YouTube channel. So don't forget to go subscribe to that.
To your YouTube channel? I'm there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking, so I was just letting the viewers know.
Okay. Hey, I want to introduce you to somebody real quick.
Yes, is this the wife?
Put your big old head in there.
Hi.
Hello. I love meeting the backbones of strong men. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Today has been just the best day ever. I can't even explain it to y'all, but I'm just so excited to interview and both of you now. And since you're here, I would love to just ask you a quick question. Is that okay?
Yes.
So when y'all, like, how do y'all raise your kids, or how do y'all cook for them? Like, what's one really good recipe that you could recommend to parents who are watching?
What's your favorite? The beans?
We do a lot of beans. So like we do pinto beans with
She
vegan sausage,
she makes chili all the
or
time.
yeah, like a really good chili with like three different kind of beans with the sausage and everything. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm hungry now.
we love beans.
I'm trying to go. I'm on my way to going raw, actually.
That's so crazy. And when you go full raw, I would love to have you back on the show again to talk about the benefits.
Only if I go full raw, I can't get back on the show. Only if I go full raw, I can't get back on the show.
We'll see. We'll see what
I'm
happens.
just saying, maybe I'll just lie about going full raw so I can get back on the show.
I think full raw would be so intense and awesome. I think I just couldn't imagine how I would feel.
I think that's how we. I think that's how we should do it. That's where I'm going. I know I'm going to be there, but I just don't. I don't know when. But I'm going that direction.
Well, that's awesome. So, is there anything when your kid comes home and does she ever get made fun of at school? Does she ever have conflict with other kids? And like, how do y'all handle that?
No, she actually doesn't. They actually have some stuff there for her to eat, and then her mom sends her stuff. And when she went on a little sleepover this weekend, they know she doesn't eat meat, so they accommodated her there too. So she's not having a hard time. She's not having a hard time at all. And she makes sure when she gets some food, she's like, there ain't no meat in it, is it? So she knows.
She speaks up.
She speak up. She gets some food. She would look at you like you're crazy and ask what's in it. Yeah. So she actually knows. She actually understands it. She's not just doing it because I do it. She actually understands why she's doing it.
Right.
Because kids are connected. I mean, they are. And
right.
One time me and her were eating at a Pollo Loco a long time ago, and she was like maybe 3 years old. She's 8 now. And I said, eat your chicken. And she said, my chicken? You mean the chickens that walk around? And that really affected me. I was like, yeah, the chickens that walk around, like they are connected. She wants to know if this is a living, breathing thing that walks around, and why am I eating this, basically? So
right.
yeah, she understands 100%. Like I said, she got her mother to switch. Yeah.
That's
a 7-year-old.
I feel like kids are more, I feel like we were all connected when we were kids, and then as we get older we're like stomped down and put in a box and shipped off into the sheeple line, and then the very few of us that are lucky enough to break free. I mean, it's just insane how much I connect with kids now being a vegan, because they totally get it,
Oh yeah, they get it. That's why I tell everybody, I said, if you have a child and you bring an animal in and say, we're going to kill this animal and then eat it, they will go crazy.
Right. Exactly. I would lose my mind if that happened to me as a child.
Right. Bring the dog in so we can go ahead and cut him up, right? So we feed our kids these animals that don't have a face and don't really have a shape. So they don't really know what they're eating, really. And then when they find out, they're disconnected, just like us.
Mm. So at their school, do they have vegan options, or do y'all pack the lunch? I know y'all mentioned that.
No, they have different things there. They also have the other stuff too, but there's stuff that she can eat. Sometimes she'll just eat a salad or whatever, but she'll take stuff also. But they have options for her, which is good.
I mean, I go back and I look at my high school pictures and the food that we ate there, and I don't know how I'm alive. Like, that's some great food.
Right? Unbelievable.
I'm like, oh my God, look at that pizza. It's like
I used to eat AM PM hamburgers at lunch. That wasn't food at all.
11 hot dogs.
They was in there all week, and they would never throw them out.
Oh, and then you would go the hot dogs. I would eat corn dogs like crazy with chips and soda. I'm like, how am I alive?
Right. It's crazy. And speaking of hot dogs and the energy thing, there could be about, I don't know how many animals in that one hot dog, which is even crazier, right? So you're taking on a whole lot.
Blah. Just so gross.
It's unbelievable.
So how do y'all feel as far as buying organic or not buying organic, the dirty dozen? I mean, how important do y'all think that is to being cheaper?
Yeah, I think it's important, but I also think that they lie to us. I think if you have enough money, you can be organic if you pay somebody. I just don't think it's cut and dry is what they say. Like this, farmers markets are the best place I think for us to go to get our stuff, because usually they're local and they do their own thing and they're independent and smaller, right? So I feel like they probably have the best stuff for us. So we go as much as we can to the farmers market.
So when y'all were dating each other, did y'all find it, I mean, were y'all both vegan at the same time? Did y'all become vegan together?
I wasn't vegan at all, and she would eat any kind of meat that there is on the planet.
That is
If
so
you gave her,
awesome that y'all
if you
did
give
that.
her a pig, hey, if you gave her a pig ankle, she would be gnawing on.
I was a meat eater. Don't believe that part, but I was a meat eater.
She didn't care what it was. So no, when I first met her, I wasn't vegan, vegetarian, or anything. This all happened.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's only been a year for her.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I just live by example, and you can't force anybody to do anything. So eventually, everybody sees the light at one time if the light's around them enough.
I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Can I get her name?
Oh,
Tammy.
Tammy?
Yes.
Okay, Tammy.
My bad.
Well, on Instagram, it's not her name, is it? It's like it's something else. Like I'm in love with. Maybe that's someone else's. I don't know. But Tammy, I was wondering if you could tell me and the people listening, like, what have you experienced as far as results, more energy, weight loss, like clarity? What have you been through?
Definitely more energy, and not really with the weight loss. I mean, I'm already have a small frame, so that's not one of my things that I'm trying to do.
I'm the same way, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely more energy, which is something that I need. So that's a real plus for me.
Well, both of you have just that insane glowing skin that we were talking about, and it seems like every single vegan has that. And I don't know why people seem like that's such a bad thing, like not necessarily glowing skin, but just being vegan in general. It's like, but look at our skin.
You get that a lot. You get that a lot.
And she's like 100.
I want to be hot. I want to be 100 years old, walking around looking like Halle Berry. That's my goal.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're on the right path.
So if someone is actually interested in continuing the path of veganism, like what information do you send them as far as documentaries or books to read? What do you say?
You got to send them the big three.
Yeah.
The Earthlings, Force and Cowspiracy. You got to send them that. So if they don't get it in one of the areas, they might get it in the other. Right? If you're concerned about your health, the planet, or other beings that can't say thank you to you, and that's the big thing. It's like, do something for another being that just because you want to, not because you're going to get something back for it.
Right.
It doesn't make any. It's just like, be kind no matter what. Basically, when it comes down to it. But right, if you have kids or grandkids and the planet's dying, wouldn't you want to save it? If it's healthier to eat a vegan diet and it keeps you out of the hospital, wouldn't you want to try it?
Right.
And if you could, nobody likes watching them animal slaughter videos. Nobody. Why not? Because they know it's wrong.
Right.
You know it's wrong. If you didn't think it was wrong, you just put it on there and watch it all the time. I mean, you don't want to see it. You get mad at people for posting it, but why are you getting mad for people posting it?
Right. I can't even watch it, man. It's so hard.
Right. If it's okay, if you eat it, and it's okay, then why do you have trouble watching it? Well, this is what happens. So you shouldn't have a problem with it if that's what you believe. So I don't understand that part. I don't watch them myself because I just post them because I don't partake in it, right? I don't need to watch it. It's like preaching to the choir. I already know what goes on. Right? This is for people that might be on the borderline, on the fence somewhere, and have a little bit of compassion in their heart and don't want to continue to be involved in this.
Right. And for everyone listening, I will be linking Earthlings, Cowspiracy, and Forks Over Knives so we can get the knowledge and the information out there. But it's all free on Netflix, and you will not waste your time watching these documentaries. Like, it's insane the amount of crap that we don't know that's going on, and the fact that they can lie to us for so long really pisses me off.
You really do seem mad about it too.
My whole life I've been about sticking it to the man, and when I found out that all this is happening, I'm just like so mad about it, because we already have so much bull crap that we have to deal with. Like, why do y'all have to make life harder?
Right. It's a big everybody's institutionalized when it comes to just beliefs that have been pounded in our head forever. And if you don't find a way to get out of that way of thinking, you're just gonna be your whole life is gonna be that way.
Did you ever watch the Hodge twins when they tried to go vegan for 6 months?
You know what? I don't even want to talk about them.
I know.
I really don't. And they just made a big joke out of it. I think it was all publicity first. It's like, even if you tried it and it wasn't for you, just leave it alone. They just, I don't know.
I think the only thing I'm really frustrated at is, like, maybe they lost the gains, but even if they lost 10 pounds of muscle, is it really 10 pounds? Is that really? I mean, you're saving the earth, you're saving animals, you're saving yourself. Like, okay, you're 10 pounds heavier, but you ain't got no earth to live on.
Right.
Well, who cares?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So could you give people just you said you wear vegan shirts. Like, what are your favorite vegan brands that you like to promote? Where can they buy it at?
Well, Clean Machine is my yeah. So if you're having problems, maintaining muscle, we all need a little help sometimes. But yeah, Clean Machine is where it's at. I have another competition. I just had 2 competitions back to back, and I'm having another one in 6 weeks. But it keeps me full and hard. And the new ahi flour omega-3s are amazing. They were just on the Dr. Oz show for the new product coming out. But yeah, Clean Machine. If you go to www.cleanmachineonline.com, you could order BCAAs, testosterone booster, and the ahi flour with omega-3s. Very good products.
So if any of y'all watching, I'm from Texas, so I say y'all a lot. I'm sorry. If any of you guys would like to ask him or his beautiful wife questions, please bring him up on the chat section over here. But when you're bodybuilding, like when you're at your shows, do you ever have backlash? Do you ever have criticism? Do people come up and say things about you to you?
No. Well, the last competition I was in, this guy, I said, I'm vegan. He said, oh, I'm sorry. But I just let it slide. That's another thing that meditation does. It gives you a pause between reacting to something, right? Because in the past, I would have jumped all over him, right? But I just kind of smiled, right? I just kind of smiled and was like, and I told him, I'm not. That's all I told him. But at that competition, I was backstage with about three guys, young guys, and I had a talk with them, and all of them were just stuck. They were just, you can see their mind processing. Their eyes were just like open, and you can tell their heads were just processing what I was telling them. Because if somebody would have came to me like I came to them, I would have been vegan a long time ago, because I didn't know. So what I did with those guys, I just planted a seed with them, and I gave them my card, and then they was like, thank you very much. So they're very receptive to what I was telling them, and you can tell it really, even if they don't change soon, it's in there somewhere. And one day they're gonna have that aha moment, and then it's gonna become real. So yeah, that's what it's about. It's like planting seeds. So I already know the shirt I'm gonna wear to my next competition. So and then when you win on top of it, then they really, what can they say?
You're like,
What can they say? You know, I actually, not this competition, but the last competition, that you write a little bit about yourself and the MC will say something, and they said, how pretty, my reception was good. Yeah, they actually gave me a good reception. There was stuff, and then I had people come up afterwards and start asking me about it. So yeah.
I think that's the way because my whole goal with this podcast is to normalize veganism, but I do this because like what's normal, but it's to, and I want to really go for the bodybuilding industry because I truly believe that the reason I got sick, just to give everyone a little background, I was a bodybuilder. I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis 3 months later after winning my show. Couldn't walk for 4 months. I literally had to take a whole year off of being a person, and I'm just now getting back into regular life. But I think the whole reason I got sick is because of the mindlessness of the passing down of like meat, carb deplete. And I think that's so dangerous. Right. And it's kind of like a stigma for us to make fun of the peak week blues. Like we think that's funny, but in reality, that's your body shutting down because it's not healthy. And yes, you have a 6-pack, but you are screwing your system up. It's not meant to be like that.
So luckily for me, I really don't really prepare that much for the competition.
That's just like a big F you to all the bodybuilders out there.
I practice on my posing and stuff, but I hear people say, "Oh, I've been training for 6 months for this competition." I'm like, "Well, I started like 2 weeks ago." So I always say, if something takes over your life completely, then it's not going to take over my life. This is just going to make my life, right? So I'm not going to sacrifice my health or anything else to these competitions, and I'm still going to do well. And that's it. You know, I'm not going to have the blues. I'm not going to have any of that. I stay lean pretty much all year round. And then when it comes down to it, I do a little cardio.
Right.
And water load, and there you have it. That's it.
That's so insane. That's just literally like you should just wear a big shirt with the middle finger up that says F you. Hey, I didn't prep for this at all. Sorry about the life.
Hey, actually, I had 2 back-to-back competitions. This last weekend and the weekend before, but the one before that, I hurt my back. So I couldn't do cardio or anything for about a week and a half. Now, you know that week and a half is important.
Yes.
And I won that competition after I could barely even pull in my abs.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and I won that one. So I got second in the last one. So yeah. So the last one wasn't a natural show either. The next one I'm gonna be in is gonna be a natural show.
It was an NPC or IFBB or whatever.
It was NPC. It was NPC. There was so much roid heads walking around. It was crazy.
That's so insane. Yeah, that's my goal. I want to impact the bodybuilding industry because we've been lied to the most. And you can have a 6-pack, but like I said, I literally couldn't even walk through the grocery store. I was having to have my brother hold my arm, and I was holding the thing, and I literally looked like I was 90 years old, or I felt like it. And people were walking up to me saying, "You look so good. Are you a personal trainer?" And I'm like, I just like I look amazing, but I feel like absolute crap. So
right.
It's insane.
Well, I think the whole bodybuilding industry it started out as being healthy, and it's turned into something else. And I don't know if you could actually turn it back, because even from the judging standpoint, now like the physique guys got to be huge. It's like you make a category for guys that are about symmetry and not really about size, and then you give it to the biggest guy. Right. So it doesn't make any sense. You know, and the bodybuilders, they're on HGH and everything else. They got big turtle shell bellies with a 6-pack on it. You know, right. Just the bigger, the freakier is the one that wins now. So I mean, that's what it's about. Back in the day, it was a healthy thing to work out, but the bodybuilding industry, I bet you half them people can't even run a mile.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, so it's not about health at all. It's about how big can you get, how lean can you get, and unfortunately, there's drugs to make you that way. Not saying you don't have to put in the work, because you do, but it takes genetics and drugs too. to be at the top of that. You know, at least the shows that they don't test.
Right.
And that's why I'm gearing towards more of the natural. I want to just be in the natural shows and just do natural shows because at least they test if you win, and then a lot of them give you polygraphs before you even. If you fail that, they won't even let you on stage.
Jeez. I mean, that's great. But also, even if you did NPC and you just consistently kept winning overall, and then you're like, dudes, what are you doing? Get off the meat protein and the freaking steroids. Like, look at me. I'm awesome.
Right. Fortunately for me, in my age group, it's not as much people using stuff. Now, I don't know how many people use stuff in my last competition, but it seems like when you get over 45, you might not want to just use, you know, muscle building drugs. Stick to some natural stuff. It seems like you'd want to do that, but.
Well, I'm going to say almost 100% of everyone uses it because I almost used, what's the most popular one for women? I
couldn't even tell you. That's how much I don't know about bodybuilding drugs.
It was like right before my show, and this guy comes up and he's like, do you want to use whatever? I'm sure I'll come up with the name here in a second. And he's like, it has no side effects. You'll keep the muscle. You'll just do one round, blah, blah. And I was all seriously considering it. And now I'm so glad I didn't do that because it was pointless and I won anyways.
And they're addicting once you start using them because you can't think you can do it without it. So. And then there's emotional things that go along with steroids too, as well. So, you know, it's an addiction just like anything else. A lot of people are addicted to it. They can't stop using it.
So who cooks more between you two?
Me.
No, I do the cooking in the house.
I just eat fruit and raw vegetables. Is that cooking? No, that's not cooking.
No.
That's not cooking, but I mean, that's feeding yourself. That's great.
Oh, okay. I get them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, I do the cooking.
So how do y'all feel, or how do individually, it doesn't matter, but how do y'all feel about oils and using oils and just that whole genre of food?
Well, like olive oil?
Yeah, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried not to use it so much, but we do sometimes. I don't really know how bad it is, really, to tell you the truth. But I mean, obviously oil has never been a good thing. You know, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes we do use it, but I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, we normally use the olive oil when we need to use it.
I think when I was transitioning, I definitely overcompensated with the amount of cooked oil. Like I was sauteing a lot of vegetables and I was using olive oil, and I really noticed my energy going down. And when I started talking to other athletes on this podcast, it was like, no, I never use oil, you just use water. So I started doing that and I drastically noticed the difference. I still use oil here and there, and then I use coconut oil all over my skin and everything, but other than that, it's
this one does too.
Hey, coconut oil is like a miracle oil, is it not?
Yeah, isn't it? I love it. For everything.
I eat a spoonful of it every morning.
Hey, how can we all get sponsored by coconut oil?
She's funny.
So how do y'all feel about soy and everything?
Well, we don't do too much soy at all, really. Just maybe in some of the mock meats might have some soy in it, but yeah, I mean, I do soy in my coffee if there's no almond milk. Yeah, that's basically it.
Right.
I know that has a bad thing to it. Soy makes you have too much estrogen. I probably have more testosterone in my body right now than I did when I was a 20-something.
I can believe that. And I've actually talked to a lot of people that have total different opinions on soy. So I've got a well-rounded view of it, but it's a very interesting, controversial thing.
Right.
Yeah. Can y'all believe it's already been an hour?
Are you serious?
Wow.
Go by so fast. It's insane.
That's crazy. I just went raw vegan.
So what? We need to set up a new episode for you.
Let's just go another hour. How about that? I'm just saying we might as well do it now. We on, right?
You know what? I would have these things 3 hours, but the first few episodes that I posted, people were complaining like an hour. I'm like, you drive an hour to work in your car. Listen to that on audio. Okay, come on.
Right.
Uh, so I'm just gonna ask you the end up questions, the questions I ask all my interviewees, I guess is the word. But do you ever mess up? When was the last time you messed up, and like what was your mental process on that? Like, did you accidentally
messed up as far as what?
If you maybe ate a cupcake that you thought was vegan and you found out it wasn't, or
well, listen to this. The burrito, I ordered all I order on my burritos is pinto beans, rice, cilantro, and onion. That's it. And I tell them that. That's all I want on that burrito. Nothing else. No meat. No meat. I've been coming here forever. Just, there ain't no meat. So I get home just last week and I take a bite. I always take a small bite first and look inside. I took a small bite, looked inside, and I seen something that looked like steak in there. And it was. So I called them up, went back. I'm like, it's 4 ingredients. It's 4 ingredients. Why are you adding? I mean, you're taking money from yourself too by adding meat to my 4 ingredients.
It's less
I don't understand. Yeah. So the last time I really, because I didn't eat that, obviously I took it back, but I ate a muffin, the whole thing. I was at this vegan fruit nick, and someone had brought some muffins, and I just assumed everybody was vegan there. There was one person that wasn't. She brought some muffins. I had no clue. I ate it, and then someone said, "Oh, those are." Ask her if those were vegan. She was like, "Oh, I don't know." Yeah, that was. I just figured everybody was, right? So they weren't. So yeah, I ate that. So that was probably last year. But I mean, you do the best you can. You know, I mean, nobody's perfect. If you want to go through somebody's home or car or with a fine-tooth comb, no, but it's just doing the best you can.
Right.
Try to live the best you can and do the least amount of harm to the planet and animals that you can. You can't. No one's 100%. And I think that's where people get it twisted and they're really judgmental. It's like, if we were to go look through your things and see what you're doing, you do the best you can.
Right.
What you're aware of, you sidestep. You don't partake of it. But sometimes there's stuff that you're not aware of. And that happened a lot when I was just first started because I didn't know everything had milk in it. Now I read labels on everything. It's like, you wouldn't think that something would have milk in it. It's like, why do they throw milk in this?
Right.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So now I'm a label watcher. I pick up everything and just read it before I, put it in the basket. So
is there a website or an app that people could look at to help them decide if it's vegan or not?
I don't know. Can you tell me that?
I can. It's called Is It Vegan? Which, I mean, that's just one.
Really? Man, I'm getting that as soon as I get off the phone. Do you have the Happy Cow app?
I do. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little cheap, so I haven't bought the one.
I got the free version. It still works, though.
I had to buy mine.
So you can get it for free and it still does everything.
Yeah, well, it sends me to where I need to go, the restaurants and stuff. What else does it do?
I don't know. I thought I guess that's all I thought it did.
Well, see, I try. Yeah, if I don't understand what it is, I'll stay away from it.
Oh, okay.
I try not to eat too much processed anyways. So it just got to be simple ingredients. I'm not going to sit there all day and Google up some long word that I don't know what it is.
Right. And what's even crazy is like foods out there that should not be vegan are vegan, like Oreos and Doritos.
Right, Oreos is a big one. I tell people that and they're like, no. I'm like, yeah.
You know what else is vegan? Hold on, let me grab it. It's ridiculous. Well, it's not vegan, but it's not dairy, which is insane because it should be dairy because it is coffee mate creamer, but it's not cream at all. There's like literally the milk derivative is at the very bottom and it's like,
so it's probably just melted plastic in there. Huh?
So tell everyone one thing that you think is the most important thing that people should know about veganism.
About it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way to live. It's the only way to live. Tell you the truth. I just wish I would have got there a lot sooner, because it really is about compassion for for beings that need it. They don't want to be stuck in that situation that they're stuck in. They don't. Just like nobody else wants to be put in that position. It's just a lot of unnecessary suffering.
Right. Being a voice for the voiceless.
Yeah, it's just a lot of unnecessary. If you wouldn't do it to your dog, then why would you accept it to another animal? And that's the thing. It's like, how do you make a connection as like a family member to your pet, but you can't see that other animals have the same capacity?
It's
It
insane.
doesn't make any sense.
I actually saw an Instagram post right before we got on here, and it was half the picture was a husky dog being hung up in China, and all the meat was gone from its neck down. All the meat was gone. And then on the right, it was pigs, and it was all the meat was gone, and it was America. And it's like no difference. And that really got to me. I was like, whoa, that's because even being a vegan, I was like, that dog, like how can they do that to the dog?
Oh, China's so horrible. I know. I don't understand it. They understand that dog is just like that pig.
Yeah.
At least they understand that.
Yeah.
We don't understand that. We say we're animal lovers while we're eating a bacon cheeseburger.
Right. Ugh.
You got you can say you're a cat and dog lover, but you can't say you're an animal lover if you're eating them. You can't.
So do y'all believe that the world will go vegan in our lifetime? I mean, at least the majority.
Well, I'm almost 50, but
in our lifetime,
and she's 80, so
maybe not our lifetime.
I'm not trying to be recycled either. So I'm just saying it's going that way.
I could see y'all living to at least 120.
120. 120. And they're gonna open up a category of physique bodybuilding, 100 and up. I'm taking it.
They're called centennials.
Yeah, centennials.
And then everyone comes up in walkers, and then you're the vegan one that just walks up.
Right. No, I'll be doing the centipede out.
So just tell everyone where they can find you on social medias, and also give us 2 goals that you have for yourself in 2016.
Okay, social media. On Instagram, I am Vegan Monk. On Facebook, just Vegan Monk. And I have a new one we just started a couple days ago called Earth Tribe Warriors on Instagram and Facebook.
And what is the purpose of that?
Earth Tribe Warriors. Well, we're all from the Earth Tribe. We're me and this. He's 24 years old. We're both vegans, and we're just about that conscious living. We're all one people. We got to realize that. And once we do, things will change. But all this putting each other in boxes, including animals, it's just going to keep us separated, and we can't be together and live like we're supposed to live. So yeah, we're the Earth Tribe. We're the Earth Tribe, just like everybody else, just like Earthlings.
Oh, and also, knowing Jessica is amazing. Like when I saw your picture with her, I was like, done.
Yeah, we're the clean machine.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
Did you watch your episodes? I did. Yeah, the Earth Tribe Warriors. Yeah, everyone go check it out. I will be linking all these in the description below as well, so to make it super easy for you guys to click on it. But I'm following you now, so.
Awesome. And we're not even friends on Facebook. You got too many friends.
I know, I'm kind of popular.
Yeah. That's the word on the street.
I keep posting vegan traps is what I call them. So I post something vegan, and every time I get an ignorant comment, I'm like, delete, because I got so many people that want to be my friend. I don't have time for your hate. Like, goodbye.
Right.
So just give us one more goal, and then
okay. One of my goals is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go pro as far as the physique bodybuilding. That's going to be a goal, and that's not because I want a pat on the back or anything like that. Right. It just people will listen with the pro be in front of your name. They're more likely to listen. They'll be like, he knows what he's doing. So yeah, I want to do that, and I also want to get on as far as doing some speaking, some public speaking, and be more do more activism.
Heck yeah. Well, you have been awesome. Both of you, thank you so much for taking the time to be here, because I know we all got super busy lives, but man, I couldn't thank y'all enough.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for this week. Wasn't Joe awesome? Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions about becoming a vegan or you're wanting to be on the podcast, please contact me at any social media. Dark Sunshine, DARKSUNSH 9. I can't wait to meet you.